And we're back. Thanks for staying with us for Investor Digest Radio. You can take to the bank. Today we're talking about W.L. Gore, still privately owned by the Gore family and their employees. It's a unique business model. Bill Gore, he used to work for DuPont back in the 50s, but he decided to go out on his own. He didn't want one of those top-down companies. We all know what we're talking about here. Let's hear from the current CEO, Terry Kelly, about how their companies run today.
The whole concept of we don't really want to operate in a hierarchy of the conventional command and control where decisions have to kind of make their way up the organization and back down. We operate with a very latticed organization or network so that you go to the person you need to get decisions, to get what you need to be successful in the organization.
Let's take some of your calls. If Gore goes public, what do you want to know about how they do business before you invest? Let's go to Connecticut and talk to Colin. Colin, you're on with Investor Digester. What's your question?
I hear that they don't have managers at Gore. How do they get their jobs done? Who assigns the work? Who makes employees do their jobs?
Thanks for the call, Colin. First of all, employees at Gore are called associates. And here's why they don't have managers.
So my sponsor helped me in a tremendous amount of ways, probably more than she's probably known herself.
I think that a sponsor is somebody who is dedicated to your personal success.
I was able to go to them and bounce ideas off them and get their feedback as opposed to asking for their permission to run a test.
Set me up with the knowledge that I needed to start my project.
I could turn to any of my sponsors and ask them for help.
And he also helped me with direction when I ran into roadblocks or needed some advice in finding solutions to some of the problems I faced.
As for assignments, Colin, well, that's up to them.
So at Gore, instead of people coming into your office and saying, I need this done in 2 days, they come into your office and say, hey, we'd like to look at this. When do you think you can get it done? And I think that idea of self-commitment is a very important aspect of Gore.
It's a very different approach, and it's a very unique approach, and it's something that I've really enjoyed while being at Gore.
Making commitments and being able to maintain them really enables you to make yourself proud and make your team proud and do what's best for the enterprise overall.
Colin, thanks for the call. Let's talk to Ethel. Ethel, you've got a question from Columbus. Go ahead.
If people at this hippy-dippy company just go and do what they want, then how does anything get done?
Well, thanks for the call, Ethel. W.L. Gore has more than 2,000 patents. In fact, so far this year, Gore has received 20 new patents. That's in only 5 months. They still seem to get their work done. Fortune magazine ranks them as one of the 100 best places to work for every year. That's 18 straight years and counting. I think this year they were 17th on the list, if I remember correctly. Okay, let's take one more call from Rudy in Helena, Montana. Rudy, you're on with the Investor Digester. What's your question? Thanks, I love your show. When is Gore going to grow up and behave like a big boy company? Ho, ho, ho! W.L. Gore has more than 10,000 employees right now in 35 countries. They're already a big boy company. And they still hold true to Bill Gore's original idea that the best innovations come from small teams and small operations. They still keep their facilities small and their shifts are fewer than 200 people. That's why they'll probably never go public. With less than 1% annual turnover and $3 billion in sales last year, I think they'd tell you they're doing just fine, and Bill Gore's hippy-dippy management experiment seems to have worked. Well, that's all for Investor Digester. Join us next week when we examine the over-the-top enthusiasm of entrepreneur Mark Cuban.